we have 4 parts. The first part is something like introduction. We would like to work with this. What is intelligence? What is artificial intelligence? And what is generative artificial intelligence? This is the main ideas about the first part. The second part is why and how AI in education. The third part is resources. I think it's very, very, very important to have a lot of resources and you can research and to work with these resources and to apply these resources. And the final, that will be presented by Professor KA2 is about AI ethics. So, we start with the first part, the module A and B. These are the structure. These are the content. What is intelligence? What is artificial intelligence? The narrative artificial intelligence. And Maria Filippi, our colleague, the first part will be presented by Konstantinos Charonis. The second part, why AI education and how AI education will be presented by Maria Filippi. And the third part by me. Okay, thank you very much. So, Konstantinos. Okay. Okay, this is the part 1. We're going to discover these parts of AI, and we have a lot of objectives. I think I will not say about these objectives. We can, of course, the presentation is on the Google Drive, and we can access this presentation, and we can go to the first question. Yeah. What is intelligence? Okay, so
welcome everyone. I'm Konstantinos Charonis. I work in Research and Innovation Department of Duka School, and I teach also robotics here. We will talk about artificial intelligence. So we think it's useful to talk first about what is intelligence before talk what is artificial intelligence. So we have some definitions about intelligence that evolved through the years. Intelligence refers to the ability to learn, understand, and apply knowledge in various contexts. It involves thinking, problem solving, and adapting to situations. So, as we understand, in the context of education, intelligence plays a critical role in students' learning and development. Some definitions is one is from STEM in the 90s, and intelligence is a total score derived from a set of standardized tests or subtests designed to assess human intelligence, and that is unique intelligence. Some years later, Gartner defined intelligence as the ability to solve problems or to create products that are valid within one or more cultural settings. And that is what we say multiple intelligence. More recently, Legenhampton said intelligence measures an agent's ability to achieve goals in a wide range of environments. So these are some definitions about intelligence. Now, what is artificial intelligence? Before we talk about the definitions, we have an activity here where we will use the well-known ChatGPT. I think most of us have already heard at least about it. So we have an activity to search the definitions to see what itself says about AI, and then we can put the answers to our partner. Here we have the two QR codes. The first one is the link to the ChatGPT, okay, where we can ask about, for example, AI, what is AI, okay, or what definition about AI is giving us. And then the second QR code is a link to our Padlet where we can compose our answers. I can show you a video too that summarize the uses of AI in our everyday life. Most of the times we don't even consider, we don't even think that help us in many tasks, simple tasks. Let me, okay. In parallel, you can, the QR codes, of course, you can use the codes, we have shared them in paper too, so you can get the links directly for the activity later.
Every day, AI helps people with their personal lives, jobs, transportation, education, health, and more, maybe even without them realizing it. Here are some examples of AI in action on a typical day. In the morning, a teenager wakes up and uses facial recognition to unlock her phone. She scrolls through social media feeds to see what's new. Then, she asks the voice assistant on her phone what the weather is going to be like that day so she knows how to dress for school. A college student uses an app on his phone to deposit a birthday check from his grandmother. He takes a photo of the check, and the app automatically reads the handwriting to figure out the amount. It then deposits it into his account. Meanwhile, a younger student uses a different app that is teaching her a new language. The app listens to what she says and can recognize what she's saying even if she makes mistakes. The app then gives her personalized feedback on her pronunciation. At the same time, a person gets in their car to go to work, and the navigation system plans the fastest route based on current traffic. In the car, they listen to a music streaming service, which already knows what types of songs they like based on what they listened to before.
This Padlet, it's a lesson plan we created for a pilot test about elements of AI ethics. And here, in the column "What is AI?" you can press. You have the link from the QR code, and you can press the plus button, so you can write in your own words or from what you found in the activity we said to search about AI, what is AI or definition of AI in ChatGPT, for example, another AI tool you know, and you can put your answers here. So we have your answers. In this button, you can find a lot of information about ethics in AI, a lot of articles and videos. Some of our students from the class we made the lesson. We done the lesson. They have also not add their perceptions or comments, but that is something you can search yourselves. And I don't know why is that on the way. Here, Georgie? Okay. Okay. So let's have 1 or 2 minutes. If you want to add, we said in the first column, you make your comments, and next second, I'll continue with the presentation. After a bit of our little research, you can say some of the definitions that we have found. If you search, you probably would see that there are many definitions about life. In general, AI is not one thing, but an umbrella term for a growing set of modeling capabilities. A definition we have chosen to show to show to you is that artificial intelligence is a field of science concerned with building computers and machines that can reason, learn, and act in a way that would normally require human intelligence, or that involves data whose scale exceeds what humans can analyze. Right, so AI is a branch of computer science that aims to create intelligent machines capable of performing tasks that would typically require human intelligence. You can see the subfields or subcategories of AI. Maybe you can't read here, but we will provide you the presentations so you have it and you can read later too on your own. Here is that artificial intelligence includes machine learning, which machine learning includes deep learning, and a subcategory of deep learning is generative AI. Generative AI is important because it is the most practical use of AI. The most things that we are going to discuss later, it's about the subcategory generative AI. Here is another map of AI and its elements, its components. Again, I think you can't read from that distance, but yeah. So, what is generative artificial intelligence? In a single word, generative AI refers to a type of artificial intelligence. That's why we said before a subcategory that can generate new data, such as text, images, video, music, that takes existing data to produce new data through a request prompt given by the user. I think that we have some experience with that. We have an idea what this is about, maybe with ChatGPT or generative AI for images. Maybe we have already used them or see them in articles or videos, etc. And a few more things is we wanted to tell you a few things about large language models, LLMs. Are neural network-based models that are trained on large amounts of text data to generate human-like text. These kind of LLMs are GPT, Bard from Microsoft, or not from Google, I'm not sure. Anyway, Berg and ChatGPT. Okay, so here we have another activity. We have another generative AI tool, which is Crayon, if I pronounce it right. It's an application where you can create your own AI animals, and you have put it here so you can test it by yourself. I think it's very interesting. It's very simple. What we have to do, we imagine something, an image, anything we would like to draw. We describe with words like we would use in a conversation among us. And we put the words in the application, and the application generates a few images based on what we asked from it. And we can choose one of the images, or we can change the words and try another if the images aren't what we have thought about. We can adjust our prompts so we have a better result. But I think it's already in a very good position. And of course, in a few years, will be a lot better. I know that they try already to do this thing with videos too, but it's not that good as the ones yet. But you can imagine the possibilities. if we are already in this stage now. And there are many applications, like Rayon, for example, DALI 2, but then it's a matter of taste. Another one very good I know is Midjourney, but you have to have an account in Discord. That's why we don't pick Midjourney. But I think it's better. The results are better, higher quality pictures. So we've seen some images that we created. I think it's very good result. Okay, thank you, Daphne. Let's continue with a few more pages of the winner. Show him after them. Okay, perfect. Okay. Ωραία. Πάμε πάλι από την αρχή. Okay, another map of the application, a landscape about AI applications in different categories and what they can do. For example, as I said before, in the category of humans, there are many more applications, of course, not only one. And for almost about anything, there are a lot of applications already exist, and in the future, probably more. Okay, and how? Okay, and how? And here's how we connect all this AI with our project. There are some challenging research questions about AI literacy. We have chosen for these kind of questions, and these are how do researchers define the term AI literacy. For example, how do educators help learners develop AI literacy in terms of learning artifacts, pedagogical approaches, and subject matters. Third question is how do researchers evaluate students' AI literacy skills? And last one, what are the ethical concerns in the domain of AI literacy? So, okay, we had a video about this, but because we're late on time, we'll skip to the final page. That is our first result of our project, Project Facilitate AI, that tries to answer this kind of questions we already mentioned. And in few words, set the pedagogical and learning framework that describes, among others, the competencies teachers need to acquire and develop in order to successfully facilitate AI learning. The project includes national reports, an AI curriculum, and a set of creativity and learning plans.
Okay. Thank you very much. I think now we can pass quickly to the part B. Okay, nice. We are ready. Okay, Maria.
Unfortunately, I'm not there with you. Hi, everybody. Due to several unexpected events, and many scientists say that the unexpected is our main difference between human intelligence and artificial intelligence, because we can deal with the unexpected, but AI maybe cannot, and maybe this is our main advantage if we compete with AI. So now let's go to the presentation. Welcome. And I will share with you several thoughts and the work we have done the previous months with the team about AI in education. So there are two main questions regarding AI in education. Why AI in education, and how we incorporate AI in education? According to McKinsey latest report, AI in education is the fourth industry mostly affected by AI, if we can use the word affected. So, why AI? Why AI? Because we need to understand what is intelligence, as Konstantinos presented before, and what is artificial intelligence. Then we have to integrate AI in project-based learning, and above all, we must regulate and teach AI ethics to students from the minors. From maybe this project has to do with the secondary education, but in our school, the focus is beginning from the minors in the preschool. So how we integrate? We integrate learning with AI, like the activities you had before. You used AI tools and you learn some new things. And the strange thing with the AI is that it's not just another tool. It has its own curriculum, let's say. We have to teach AI in a separate way, like a module. It is a module in the computer science big curriculum. And last but not least, we have to apply AI in our everyday work, even if we are students or teachers, educators, professors, etc. So, why to introduce AI in secondary education? Because there is no other way. We have to do it. We have to, the students today are the adults of tomorrow. So we have to teach them and understand intelligence and artificial intelligence. It's very important to integrate AI, as I said before, in project-based learning and to teach AI ethics. There are links, you can follow them for more information or details. Yanni, would you like to show the video or to move on?
No, Maria, we have no time, so we must
move on. Okay.
Go on. Please.
Okay. I cannot see
we can
anybody.
give you,
Hello,
we can give you only 5 or 6 minutes. Okay. Is it possible?
Okay. I will be fast. No
yes,
worries.
I think that we must focus on examples.
Okay.
I think this is the main thing. Okay. So.
Okay.
It's a nice, of course, a very nice presentation, but okay.
Okay, thank you. So, when we use the technology in class, we usually have 3 basic components. At first, we input, we give data, we give facts, and then the tool is processing, and then we have outputs. What's the difference, as you can see here, between traditional technologies and AI, and in the future, in the near future? AI has a role. AI can suggest, AI can point out, AI can guide you. With the traditional technology capabilities, we take as output text, graphics, multimedia, dashboards, text tables or other tables, but the tool is not having a significant role in our decisions. With AI, we can be guided by the tool, because the tool can suggest. of course, we should be very careful and teach AI ethics, because the suggestions, we are not sure if they are every time correct or ethical. I'm moving on. So, as I told you before, learning with AI, learning for AI, and applying AI. I'm not going to tell you more things about this. I think I elaborated before enough. And you can see it's useful to see the video with how China is using AI in classrooms. And now let's go to the first example. Yanni, would you like to describe it, or I will do it?
No, yes, I will describe this. I think this is a generic idea. The idea is that the teacher asks something to bring from the students and poses a question. Can a machine learn to recognize, learn to move, learn to hear something, learn to speak, learn all these things? So the students can work in groups, and at this this activity, they bring their favorite pet. They upload this pet on the Padlet, and after uploading this, they try to, with their tablet or their phone, their mobile phone, they try to have information about their pet. There is a lot of programs. You know, I think you know the Google Lens program that we can use to recognize animals, plants, and so on. I think it's a very nice, and as you can see, the students are motivated because they take photos, they try to find things, and it's very nice. And this is an idea that we can use in every age with different, of course, subjects. So,
Yanni, let me note here that
yes.
we have done together this activity also in secondary school, and the children were more motivated even than the students in primary. They liked it a lot. Do you remember the junior high school students? So don't hesitate to experiment in secondary education with playful activities with AI, because they are very motivating. May I proceed to the second?
Yes, yes, of course, to the second now.
Okay.
Rapidly.
These two projects, the first one and the second one, are two of our favorite projects because they have to do with art, and we love art in the school, even if we're not artists. It's a cross-curricular project for the visualization of a song.
And after using the imagination AI applications, we use software, and then we presented the visualization together with the song, and it was really amazing. The second project I'd like to show you, and I think it's one of the most creative and important in our school, is how to make history alive, how to breathe life into history. A very common project in our school is the minor Asia catastrophe during last century, 1922. And every year, children, students, and teachers create performances or seminars about this issue, or they invite writers. This time, we use AI in order to make the history more alive. Because from this history, we don't have many images and photos and videos. There are very few visual evidences from this period. So, but we have plenty of knowledge. So either the educators read about this period, wrote about this period, and then they use Mid-Journey in order to enhance the images they already had. These very few images they already had for this period, and they make new because the AI tool added elements to the historical pictures. Here are some of the historical photos of the catastrophe, and there are 20 pictures. I think there are no more pictures from this period or something like pictures. And here are the images that Dali, some of the images that Dali and Midjourney created, adding elements after input of narrative in the system. You can see colors, you can see more details, you can see it's like you breathe into the body of history and this gets alive. So, I think I'm done, right, Jen?
Yes, I suggest to stay at this status, Maria. I will go very fast because the time is past. So please go to.
I can stop sharing very now.
Okay. Thank you very much. Thank you.
I hope you like it. I can see you. I cannot have your positive vibe, but maybe you can.
Okay. Yes, it is okay. I think also the last idea is a generic idea. We can use this idea for a lot of things. And
every historical fact can be expressed visually with AI, and historical facts like big events like wars or because we have a narrative. Imagine if we take the DVDs and make a video with the story of the revolution Union War.
Okay, thank you very much. We must continue. Small things about AI literacy. Here in the Facilitate project work for teachers, and of course, inside this frame, we have also a small set of competence that are related to students. And we finish our part, and I don't know if you want to ask something. So if Bilena want to continue.
Okay. The shoulder of the person in front of you. Close your eyes. Everybody, please start thinking about something nice and pleasant. Start moving a little bit your arm, like massaging the person in front of you. Yeah? Okay. Now you can, Dora, close your eyes. Okay. Now we should turn around. Yeah, the opposite direction. Oh, okay. Close your eyes. Now start thinking about something bad. I'm not calling some bad emotions, just something that you don't really like. And do the same with the other hand. now you can open your eyes. Now I have a question. Can you do this with artificial intelligence?
Can?
Can you do this with artificial intelligence? How can you do it? Did you feel something different the first part of the exercise when I told you to think about something nice? How did you feel in general? Good? Anybody having problems with the touching and disturbing the private space? How do you think the children will? Because all our students are children. How do they feel about this?
More effectively maybe than we adults.
Yes.
They will be more able to feel like the heat of the hand maybe on top of the shoulder.
Did you feel any difference when I said think about something nice, positive emotions, and then when I said think about some more unpleasant emotions, bad things?
It was lighter. I think my touch was lighter when I thought of something nice and was like hard.
And how did the other person, did you feel this difference? You guys, did you feel the different touch? No? For anyone, did you feel any difference in the massaging part? No difference.
But I think it's obvious why.
So what do you think? Can we use artificial intelligence for something like this? I'm serious, I'm asking you. Can you do something like
Maybe
this?
with robots.
Maybe a robot, okay. How would you feel? Imagine now the hand of a robot touching you and massaging you.
Probably weird.
Did you have this experience?
If the robot could produce heat from its fingers, probably. I don't know.
But how can you do this with
If
the
you have a
robot?
metal hand, for example, from a robot, the touch is different. But if you have the skin to be like a human, if you embrace the hand,
But who is doing this?
the human mind.
Human is producing
Yes.
a robot, reflecting, and how to say, transmitting the same type of texture, the same type of touch, the same type of. But can you transfer the feelings to the robot?
You can explain them with AI.
You can explain them. Yes.
Identity.
Yeah. Did you wake up a little bit? Now you can take your seat. The reason for me to do this is the next part. I have to say, when I was preparing the presentation, I was confused. And I had very contradictory feelings because it's about creativity of students and how to use artificial intelligence. We can go to which computer is this? Oh, yeah. Okay. So basically, what you have on the slides is not exhaustive because it's impossible to have an exhaustive list of tools and platforms, but some examples that you can use. So for this reason, I'm not following the slides. What I'm trying to tell you and raise a question that will be continued tomorrow by my colleague Jill is, can we really nurture creativity by using AI or just the opposite? And I will be happy to hear your thoughts before I share my experience with our students in our school. So how many of you who work with students, because we're talking about secondary school here, how many of you really use artificial intelligence in their classes? Or your kids, your students are using it? Okay.
I don't work with students in school,
Okay.
it's in university, but recently I found a very interesting AI tool, which is part of Khan Academy. The tool is based on ChatGPT-4 and is named Khan Amigo. Khan Vive.
Yeah, okay.
Khan Academy, Khan Amigo. maybe the word amigo, which is a friend, or okay, so yeah, and I think that this is excellent tool for guiding the students in difficult subjects like mathematics, physics, biology, which is the subjects in Khan Academy, and I don't know if it is paid, but I think this is the future of implementation of AI tools in yes, application of AI tools in schools. Having the AI tool as personal guide and using it 24/7, asking questions to the tool, and the tool started in the videos I saw. The tool started to guide the students was asking some math question. Okay, go read this. Let us solve another task, then another. And it's really like you have worked with a personal tutor.
And do you see improvement in the performance of the students?
I don't have such an information. It's one approach, and it's very new, maybe from April or May this year. And I don't know if it is paid or free too, but it's real and it's there, and it's based on the newest ChatGPT-4. It is very well trained. And maybe it will be interesting for.
Yes, please, we can add it to this presentation.
You can find Migo in Google and.
So I have found something on Khan Academy, but.
Khan Academy, and the tool is its name Khan Migo.
No, it's not on the list, but we can add it too.
I'm not sure. I don't have time. Khan Academy maybe is free for some lessons, not all.
Most free until
Most free, at the moment I can't say because. But if this tool is free, it's available when you start having some lessons. Sorry for the.
No. This was a question just to share some experience because it's interesting. I think a lot is going on in the past few months, really. When we were preparing, thank you, Yanis, you prepared the slides. Actually, you found all these tools, but when I did the research from our side, I found everything very recently developed. So this is why I'm curious to hear from you. Do you really work with your students with AI? How do you apply it? Because my next question is, can we nurture creativity and how exactly we use the creative resources? Because what I found so far is just ready answers, guidance, tutoring. But for me, the key question remains, are we nurturing creativity of kids with artificial intelligence? How do we do this?
The creators of that tool claim that it nurtures creativity.
We don't have any proof.
It's too new.
Perhaps the definition of creativity has changed. Creativity in the past is not the same as creativity in the future. That's why we redefine all these terms and education, all of this.
Yeah.
Konstantina,
yes, she wanted to say something, but then
yes.
she's like a student and doesn't want to share.
Yeah, I want to figure out. So I tried to use an AI site which is actually here, which faces real, with some of my students so that they can get a grasp of what AI is, as a lesson to explain what AI is, though, not to use it as a specific mean for the lesson. But because I am doing my master's right now in 2D and 3D animation, I know a lot of I cannot say classmates because we're not actually classmates, but anyway, they use some AI tools to create 3D avatars and other tools in general so that they can create better backgrounds and textures for their prompts. And there are some sites that they have given us, like tools with 3 O's, .design, which is a list of different AI tools, and it says if it is paid, if it is free, if you need to have an account to use it or not, and it's like a whole lot of different AI tools.
This is very nice. This we are going to put this your site as
Sure,
yes. Okay. Please send to me to put at the presentation.
Do you see improvement in their performance or motivation?
For the students, they were a lot more engaged when they saw how it is used. For university students as myself, it helps us reduce a lot of time to create, but because it's for graphical art and not something so like mathematics and stuff, I'm not really sure if it applies to every different subject. I know that it helps with coding as well, and it can create the code. You can, right now, there is a tool that you can say, I want this website that can have a different type of UI for the users, and it can send emails and stuff, and you describe it, and it creates it. So you can save a lot of time by doing that with AI right now.
This is what there is a list with some tools here, as you can see. What I found is one whole, like a platform. It's a website with many applications, and the interesting fact is they refer to children. When I typed creativity, like random search, just to see creativity and AI, how they are interconnected and what is developed already. And the tools that were provided were children's creativity and kids and families. Because in the past few years, it's becoming more and more important to engage parents in this ecosystem with teachers, students, parents. And there were a lot of tools for images, for drawings, for sounds. Like there is there was one example to provide bird songs.
Yes, bird songs.
Different types of bird songs. But this is what I tried to show you with the exercise. All these applications, tools, and platforms are going back to the senses, to the human senses, like the sound, the touch, the emotions, the drawing. But again, it remains as the key question. Are we really having another new definition of creativity? What is creativity today compared to creativity in the past? But unfortunately, it stays the same for ages. As much as we mature, as much time as we spend in the system, in education, in school, unfortunately, the creativity goes down. And this is one of the main discussions and debates that we have. By introducing AI, are we really killing creativity or nurturing creativity? And I will share our experience with our students. In my classes, as I said in the beginning, it's a new subject. It's developed in our school by our team. It's not a general subject in the Bulgarian system. It's called personal and interpersonal development is the first subject, and the second one is the human and the human and the living environment. Trying to teach them STEAM based on the STEAM project. So these two subjects were developed especially for our school. They go as part of their diploma, the grades are there, everything is there, but this is approved by the Ministry of Education. What we are doing is introducing new elements, and one of them is we ask students in 9th grade, which is ages 15, 16, 16? 15. So we asked them, actually we didn't ask them, they asked me to make movies, to make documentaries. It happened 2 years ago. We were doing presentations as one big primary project throughout the whole year. They had to present in English on a big stage, very professional presentation with references, with images, with diagrams, with primary research, everything. And all of a sudden they told me, Miss, we are getting bored. It's boring for us to have presentation after presentation. They tried all the tools, like they tried, of course, PowerPoint, then we moved to Prezi, then we moved to Canva, and they said, we are bored to death. Let's make documentaries. And I thought that the documentaries will be very, very basic, very simple, very childish, maybe. And they really surprised us. I'm not going to show you because these are very long movies at the end. But what is amazing is they did the documentaries by themselves. They told me, we want to travel. We want to meet with people. Can we use some days from school that we can go to certain places and shoot our scenes? And I was surprised because I was expecting that they will sit down on their computer, put together some images, take some videos or any clips that they can find, but they said, no, we want to do it by ourselves. The very first one, which was like a masterpiece, Rumen, Urlin, and the other, no, not Rumen, Nicola Doniu, they made a documentary about the folklore of Bulgaria. What these kids did, they were a team of 7 or 8. They split into smaller teams. They went to every part of the country. They were dancing, folklore Koran and the Chinitna, because they are part of this group in the school, so they can dance. They dressed in the folklore dresses. They had an interview with one of the most popular singers, folklore singers in Bulgaria, Vala Balkanska, who also sang the song In Space. And they did this by themselves, not using any technology but their phones, traveling around the country, of course being excused from classes, spending time with their peers, with their teammates, spending time with some, I would say, quite older generation people in these small villages in the middle of nowhere in the country, learning about their roots, and they really produced a masterpiece. It was in Bulgarian language. The rule was English, but we couldn't do it because there were too much terminology. And this was the first one. It was a surprise. And at the end, what happened is they come to me and they say, we produced masterpieces, so we want to have an Oscar ceremony. I said, okay, we have the space, we have everything, resources that you need, do whatever you want. They made amazing ceremony. They prepared the piano, of course the dresses. We didn't have, it was my obligation, I didn't really, until the very end, I thought this is just a joke. And I felt embarrassed because I was staying on the stage with some almost flip-flops, and because it was in the summer, and they were all dressed up in dresses with the piano, with the envelopes, and at the end we had this status for the Oscar. So what I'm trying to tell you here is we help them, we give them resources, we give them advice, we provide all the links and software, but at the end what they do is really going back to the old school, to the old fashioned. Going with the camera, going through the emotions. They keep talking about this project until the very end of the years at school. Even the other day we were talking about one of the projects, they had a lot of problems. They traveled to one place, they got lost, there was rain on the way, the person who they needed to interview didn't appear and stuff like this. And these are all emotions and all problems and challenges that they meet that actually, I think, make them more mature and nurture the creativity. And in the end, as a conclusion, all these Oscar ceremonies, all the dresses if you want, all the emotions again generated, it's when they start writing their motivational letters or statements or whatever, when they apply to the university, they go back to these projects and they generate ideas and motivation based on these projects. We have many other that are happening recently, like they go around to different countries to compete in debates, to compete in some business competitions, but everything they do is using their senses, using prototypes of products, because now we have a very big competition of junior achievement for companies. I would say our school is the most successful so far in Bulgaria. We won the national competition last year. And what they did is they produced real prototypes, physical ones, by themselves. They go to the printing house, they go to have brochures. They ask for some physical materials. They ask for some, let's say, music or other things, but all they do is keeping back to the senses, to the emotions. So in conclusion, I think we can use AI, but my advice to all of you and experience from my side as a teacher now is we need to strike the balance and we need to combine artificial intelligence to support and enhance a little bit the physical experience, the physical emotions, the senses, the relationships, and everything that is the base for creativity. So I think the next step in the development of all these tools and platforms is how this is related to the physical, the intelligence that we're talking so far, and creativity in this context. So this is it from our side. Thank you.
I've been criticized many times for overshooting my talks, but I can throw out some ideas. Some of them might even be provocative, so therefore we can have discussion. Now, it's very tempting to talk about AI ethics in a general way, but I understand that I have to sort of concentrate and link it to education and link it to kind of curricula for high school children. Now, nevertheless, it's very important when we are training teachers to teach AI in schools, but also to use AI in their teaching in schools, to make sure that the teachers understand very well the ethical issues that are linked with AI. Okay. There is this mistake that happens that we put AI, the ethics element, we just say, okay, we'll deal with it somehow. It's not really the essence of things, and it's just a thing that somehow has to be addressed, and we'll deal with it when the time comes. That's a major mistake. Like, for example, the Facebook originator said when he was in the Senate with this analytical scandal, he said, okay, we will employ another 10,000 people to check the ethics of this. This is not the way you do things. the way he should have replied, okay, I'm going to close Facebook for a month and I'm going to start it again. That should have been the real answer, and start it again by bringing in the foreground the ethical dimensions of this. I know this is not possible. I know that tech technologies and the big tech companies are running things, and you see that's one of the ethical issues that we have to see. So, message number one, make sure that the trainers address ethics from day one. Okay? Now, the first thing to say about ethics, AI ethics, is a positive thing. And the positive thing is the following, that AI has, in a sense, resurfaced all the major philosophical questions of humankind. AI has forced us to remember major philosophical issues and major issues that we somehow forgot in the passage of the Industrial Revolution and this development and growth and etc. Okay, it's bringing back all these issues, and there are two reasons for it. One of them is because we are now talking about thinking machines that think like humans, so we're thinking like a new species perhaps. So it sort of forces us to rethink all these issues. Okay, this didn't happen with the scientific era, the Industrial Revolution and the scientific era, because it was very narrow. It had to do with how to develop things to help us in our physical existence. Now this thing is affecting our mental existence, and that's why it reverses all these philosophical issues. Okay? I look at you, you're looking puzzled. Tell me if you disagree or you agree or you're happy or unhappy about things. Okay. So that's the first message. Don't leave ethics at the end, and make sure that ethics is discussed from the very beginning in the classroom with the teachers. Okay.
I have a question, teacher.
Yes.
I say the ethics. How do I know that they are respected?
How do you know that?
They are respected.
We discuss ethics.
We discuss ethics.
Yes. Okay.
How do I know that they are respected by the students?
All right. Now, the first thing to say about ethics is that ethics is hard. Ethics is harder than technology. Ethics is much harder than technology. In fact, there are studies that tell us that you cannot define the moral values of humanity. In other words, it means you cannot build it. It's not, we cannot apply okay.
You cannot measure it also.
Well, if you cannot define it, you cannot measure it, all right. But somehow, the human mind still manages to address it and to understand it and to sort of get by, all right? Except in some situations, and we'll come back to it. Okay, so it's a good question. So therefore, the second message is tell the trainers to tell the students that if you really want to be a clever student, try to do ethics, because it's much harder problem than trying to program a machine to go to the moon or something. Right. So here's a high-level overview. We just said ethics is very important, and I said dangers and opportunities, okay? We're going to come to the dangers. I've come to the opportunity is that really AI is opening up new opportunities, and, for example, is opening the opportunity to rethink philosophical or philosophical and ethical questions. The dangers are in different levels. Okay, so you have to alert the students to the dangers at different levels so that they are aware of what's going on. So let me tell you, because sometimes the dangers are only kept at the minimum. When they're discussed, they're only kept at the minimum. So let me do this before I go. So what do you think are the major dangers of AI today? Who's going to? The lady. Sorry, your name?
Konstantina.
Konstantina.
Nice to meet you.
Antoni.
So.
Yeah, just pick one. Pick one you think so that
it can't distinguish if knowledge it gives is going to be harmful or not.
Massive misinformation.
Misinformation, and if it's going to be used as in a bad way or not.
Misinformation and misuse. Other dangers. Okay, so misinformation, misuse, and you're saying that it's going to turn us into zombies, that we're not going to be, okay. Right. Yeah, okay. So, but I think that what you're saying is that since we have the information and the solutions supposedly ready, we are not motivated to use our mind ourselves, etc. Okay, other.
Say evolving too fast. Evolving too fast.
Yeah, okay, but what's the danger of that?
That we cannot adapt efficiently enough as a society.
Okay, so what's the danger? We cannot adapt. So I agree. So what's the danger? We're going to become zombies, like.
I think there are many dangers to that.
So name one.
In terms of jobs, for instance, not being able to adapt in terms of the jobs.
Okay. Okay. So you had your chance. Yeah. Misuse and misinformation, kind of making us vegetables, right? Job kind of existence. You cheated because you said the second one, kind of, losing our species, disappearing, and
resources is another person, and store is an entity.
Yeah, this is the misinformation. Yes. All right. Good. You're not doing that bad, but there are some surprises coming up. Right. Okay, I said this. Pass the message. All right. Pass the message that ethics is hard. Pass the message to the students who they like to do science, they like to do mathematics, they like to do things. Tell them if you really want the challenge, a difficult mathematical problem, study ethics and see how am I going to formalize ethics? How am I going to get the machines to behave ethically? Very tough problem. How do we build machines? Do we teach them or do we nurse them? Just like we build ethical children and ethical members of the society. It's okay.
But do us humans have any responsibility for the ethics of robots? Let's imagine that.
You got that, okay? Who's responsible? Okay, that's the issue that's coming in the next slide. So here it is, you see. How are we going to address this area? So we identify these dangers, and then how are we going to address these dangers? Okay. And one idea, which is not going to do much, is regulation. But unfortunately, because as the gentleman said with the Darwin beard, you get that, Darwin beard? Yeah. So your name? David, Darwin David. Okay. One idea, because the things are moving so fast, you've got to try to regulate the regulation is not so that you can solve the problem, address fully the problem, but at least give you perhaps some time to address the problem, in a more holistic way. So, as you know, the EU AI Act is coming. They want to pass it by the end of this year to regulate supposedly some of the things. I will come to this in a minute, but the only way to address the dangers of AI is through education. Okay.
Whose education, though?
Of humans from day one. When do they start? When do we start get educated? From 2 years old, 1 year old? That is the only way. And I will come and explain if I can a little bit, because I'm not an educator, but it is clear, and this is related to the philosophical rethinking of the philosophical ideas of what is humanity. Okay, so messages are clear. Okay, so the immediate AI dangers is the ones that we've more or less identified. The immediate AI dangers which are coming from David's speed of AI is this propagation of bias that the systems are trained, you know this, the systems are trained on data that contains biases, and therefore those biases are inevitably included in the operation of the systems, and therefore they propagate these biases. There's the misinformation that can be done now, misinformation on a massive scale. I mean, misinformation was happening forever. Okay, politicians are the carriers of this, the machines carriers of this misinformation, and you needed, for a large scale, you needed media, but now it's sort of brought a new dimension, this misinformation, when you can. Apparently, Andrea Grigori, in Cyprus, they've created a video of Grigoris Absendiou talking about, is that true? About the struggle in '55. This had actually. Yes. I didn't see that. I've been told. Yeah, we can check. So it's reaching. It's a kind of different level of misinformation. Right? We always had misinformation, but now we have a different kind of misinformation. Again, David said this disruptive jobs rearrangement. Okay, so it's happening so fast, so maybe we're not able to sort of rearrange the economy and the labor market so that we have people enjoying the benefits of being employed. Remember, le travail et la liberté. Okay? It's a famous thing. There's also the energy pollution that we forget. We forget that this kind of AI things and the kind of all these systems are running and providing the services actually need electricity, and they're using a lot of energy to do that, and they are contributing to the energy climate. But the biggest danger is the red thing at the end. The new dictators of the age now are the big tech companies. Okay, we have a new colonialism, apiokratia. Okay, the Greeks left from Athens and they went to Minor Asia and to Sicily, and that's the first kind of apiokratia colonialism that we Greeks are taught at school. And then there's Great Alexander, the Romans, the Byzantines, the English, the British Empire. We are now living this colonialism of the big techs. The big techs now, with AI, are going to rule the world if we're not careful. more than Putin and Biden. Okay? Bear this in mind. Something has to be done with controlling, and I will tell you what needs to be done in a moment. All right, with controlling these things. All right. Now, so second layer of dangers of AI coming from the fact that AI is a kind of universal technology. It's not just one technology here to do one simple thing, project, or my glasses here to help me see better, or an aeroplane, which is a complicated machine, but its job is just simple, go from A to B in. This kind of AI technology has the capability to be universal and help us or interfere in the way that we think about problems. So what does he do when we come to the lady with the black dresses there, Roxana? We come to you see? Okay. So what is the problem? The problem is the pollution that it causes to the human mind. Okay, so I use this word pollution just so that you can understand it in comparison, in analogy to the pollution of the scientific and industrial thing. Okay, so the scientific and the industrial revolution was dealing with conquering the nature and helping in our physical existence. This is conquering our mental existence, or not conquering, let's not use that word, but this is affecting our mental existence, and therefore it will analogously pollute our minds. And remember that it takes years to see the effect of pollution. How many years did it take for the climate change pollution to emerge and to recognize it and to accept it? And some people still are not accepting it. More than 100 years, 150, 200 years. This is not going to take so much, but it takes, and it's a slow thing. It's a slow cumulative effect. It's not like, you know, taking a knife and taking yourself and you see it immediately, okay, or burning yourself. It's a slow thing, like smoking. It's a slow thing that even gives you the impression that something is nice, and it carries on, and it's nice, and it's nice, and it's nice, and after 30 years you find out what the price you pay. So there is this issue about pollution. Now, you can now that I have hopefully stimulated this idea of pollution, you can, each one of you go and think. If this was a classroom, I would ask you to write it down, but fair enough. Think, okay, this idea of pollution, what do I think in more concrete terms it will be, okay?
Are conditioning their mind. They don't think by themselves. They have to buy a pair of shoes. They ask the friends to the iPhone, and then they decide what to
buy. I'm not sure if that's a bad thing. It's just another way of living. It's I tell you, I was in London and I went to see my account, and he was doing some things, and he had to. I think he had to subtract 19 from 26. And he used a calculator. I said to him, Chris, what is his name? I said, Chris, sorry, you have to use the calculator to subtract 19 from 26. Okay, so therefore, I'm answering, I'm not completely disagreeing with you. I'm answering in a kind of analogous way again. The same kind of concerns were there when calculators came. When did they come out? 50 years ago, 40 years ago, 30 years ago, that, you know, people will lose their mind, they will not be able to it's just another tool. We are a species that we develop tools to help us, we say. We don't think about the price we're paying, yes, but we somehow learn to adapt and think around them, think with them, etc.
And at the end, it's not about the calculation, it's about how you can actually understand how the calculation is done.
But why should I understand how the calculation is done?
The methodology.
Why should I do that?
It gives you creative thinking, it gives
But
you
I-
the ability to understand, to analyze.
Yes. But you think we've lost the creative thinking,
For me, I think I understand.
so exercise, everybody writes down one idea of what is the pollution of mind.
I think I understand how you get to maybe of your others. Pollution is not a pollution, but it's a convenience. And that's also at what age you consider something as a pollution. If I disrupt the creativity of thinking young people, giving them ready-made, let's say, information or knowledge accessible, then maybe I could be polluting their minds or their development of their minds. But at my age, at this moment, for me, it's a convenience of saving time.
Yeah.
So
But
it depends how you.
Grigori, but this is what pollution means. Pollution means that, yes, I do something now because I see the benefit now. I'm smoking a cigarette, but there is a long-term effect that comes that changes things. Okay, so it's that long-term effect that you have to think about. So everybody, write the paragraph, please. I will be giving a prize for the two best ideas. Name the prize. You name the prize.
Yesterday we gave one prize 50 euros.
100 euros. 100 euros to prize. Next.
So, what has helped humanity, I think, I'm not doing this.
Sure. Okay. Yeah, we are, so I hope you can excuse me because I'm a teacher as well, okay? And, I'm joking. If you want to write it, write it. If you don't want to write something, don't write. But it would be something creative, okay? Because this idea of pollution has been in my mind for some time. And I have some ideas, but I think it's difficult because you're trying to foresee. So you know what we're trying to do? We're trying to foresee the dangers of smoking in 1940, 1945, and 1950. I used to walk outside my girlfriend's and then wife's house in Nottingham, which was near the Players cigarette factory. It was an awful smell, okay? But it employed my father-in-law, employed the brother of my wife. It employed half of the neighborhood there and things like that. Sorry, Constantina.
I think what has helped humanity till now to create all of this technology and in general live so many years as a species is that it knows and learns how to adapt. If we have AI, after some time, I think we will not be able to adapt. If there is something new, we wouldn't be able to adapt as well as we do.
Why are you mentioning the adaptability power of the brain?
I have seen from my students right now that they will totally believe everything from fake news online to if the machine tells it it's okay, it's right because the machines are perfect, so why should we judge what they make? And they don't usually get into the point to know how to adapt or use the knowledge that they're getting.
False and extreme expectations from AI. So this is not a problem, as Constantina said nicely, this is not a problem only of AI. It's actually a much older problem, is this automation bias that we have in the society, which somehow we think that machines are infallible. Okay, we trust the machines more than we trust Konstantina or myself was. So this is an issue that's perpetuated and accentuated by AI. All right.
The thing is that if the machines do less mistakes than humans, because there's no way they do no mistakes, but in my mind, for example, for autonomous cars, if they make a lot of less mistakes than human, then I would trust more.
Okay. So
the machines.
Let me tell you for sure, there is no way you can have a machine which is better than the human mind. The human mind is a machine that's been developed over millions of years through evolution. It's an optimized machine to live in this environment on Earth. All right. There is in Greek we say hybris. You know the word hybris? In a hybris to think that you can shortcut that evolution and create a machine which is better than the human mind. What we do, the illusion that we get, is that we create machines which are better than the human mind in one dimension, in one thing. And because we're working in one dimension, other dimensions are paying the price for it. And that's solution. Okay. So, because here we're thinking about AI as a holistic kind of mind, all right? That has several capabilities. There is no way, there is no way that we can kind of bypass the general intelligence of the human mind by a machine. But we can specialize it again. To help us, like the aeroplane helps us fly, okay? In a certain problem, certain skill. But then we have to think, what is the polluting price that we're paying for it?
I was going to say, do you agree that we are now able to simulate these natural processes way faster than they
like?
I think we will process by say
yes.
Our quantity will evolve. I think we are now starting to be able to simulate this kind of process. Of course, not with this complexity yet, but eventually we will.
The answer, no, I think we're doing a very bad job, and the reason why we're doing a very bad job is because the machines themselves are creating the environment on which, because to have an evolution, you have to have an independent environment, okay, and you have to have chaos, you have to have some randomness, and it's that during that kind of trial and error that you get thinking. Now the thing that's happening now with AI, which is a really stupid idea, is that you get the machines to generate new environments to train other machines. So it's in a momixia. It's a momixia.
When you.
It's there is no variation. To have proper evolution, you have to have a soup of variation. You have to allow somewhere to have variation. There is no variation. In a momixia, you are just using the same gene basis to develop new ones. Incest, yeah. So to develop new ones, and we know that always comes to a dead end. You can't. There's no such thing as a free lunch. You can't beat nature, right? We cannot beat nature. Eh? Masters. Monsters, yes. Well, I call it you get to a dead end, right? Right. Look. So, these false extreme expectations we mentioned in Constantina, again in forms of thinking. What does this mean? This means that this may be a good or bad thing. Okay, so what you have now is the possibility that you have in the machines inherent different ways of thinking. Okay, they somehow appear, right? And these are kind of alien ways of thinking, which may be a bad thing or maybe a good thing depending on if we can recognize it and how we use it. Okay, but it is a form of pollution and we have to be very careful. A very simple form of pollution that nobody said, which is already happening, is this filter bubble enclave. You know what the filter bubble enclave is?
It's related to the artificial intelligence algorithm, how they manipulate.
Yeah, but what is it?
It's to shorten the amount of information that you have access to, right?
It lets you live in a bubble of your own interests. So these things have these recommendations. They say, oh, you bought this book, other people bought this other book, etc. So what happens with all these things, recommendations you get? So what's happening? I'm interested in tennis, quantum gravity still, AI. What else am I interested in? And what happens is that all the nudges I get, they're here. So my horizon is never going to be broadened. Another momixia, another, what you call it, incest, another thing, that's a very dangerous thing, very, very dangerous thing, because I've seen it, you say, the young kids, that they get the thing and they say, and what are they getting there? They're getting more of the same, more of the same, more of the same. And they never, there's nothing to nudge them to go outside and see, yeah, maybe tennis is not the only sport in this thing, maybe there's something else. Okay, so that's already a concrete form of pollution that's happening to many people who use social media and things like that. I don't use social media. I have a WhatsApp account that I use only to communicate with an Italian friend in Pisa. So one friend, or whatever you call them. I don't have Facebook. I asked the creator to become friends. He didn't reply, so I'm not going to bother. And what else was it? Viber, and I have Viber to talk to my wife and my friends. And that's it.
But you talk about education. How do you educate the youth?
Coming up.
Okay.
Prossimo posto. The lady also mentioned this thing, the replacement of the human species. I don't know. It's too far down the line. As I said, I think I mentioned it before, I still have confidence in the human mind that it's going to be able to resist. And okay, it might be
one-dimensional activities, it will be replaced.
Yes, so we said, but then you have to think, one dimension, think about the pollution, all right? Because we've been very selfish as a human race, and we might come to extinction because of that. And we're going to come to extinction anyway, in billions of years when the sun goes out. But, and don't think for a moment that we could go to another planet. Okay, not as a human species as we are. Maybe some other species, yes, but not as a human species.
But with increasing technology, can in some way to change
Yes.
modifying
Yes.
DNA?
So that's what I'm saying. Are we? So is that the danger? Is that the thing of evolution? I don't know. That's why I put this in. But the most important polluting thing is this mental slavery. I call it the mental slavery. All right? And this mental slavery, we're talking about slaves, doulos, like we had here in Athens. Athens thrived because you had slaves. You had democracy, but you also have slaves, all right? And that was part of the way that it moved forward.
You have happy slaves. Where
I don't know, I'm not a historian. I don't think our slaves were very happy. Does anybody know?
They were more happy than today.
The slaves in ancient Athens were happy?
I mean, they had houses, they had
The
families, they
limitation
worked,
that
they
human mind, they were employees, and they were
Even if they were, they didn't actually know that they could do something better.
All right, that's but the point is that these days we are developing a form of mental slavery, and the masters are the tech companies. Okay. All right. And we are all.
You mentioned earlier.
And also, listen, sorry, and it's the technology owners, not the technology. Be careful, because this is very important. Okay, it's not the technology that's forming the slaves, but it's the owners, the human owners, are forming the slavery. Next, sorry.
Because I was thinking, since you said earlier, how to fight this polarization of if you come up with a few problems, a solution for me, as it makes sense, would be to fight this polarization. Imagine the 27 states of EU, each state to have a public GPT of their own. Each country have their own GPT open to their people, and then you see maybe this colonization will not.
They say great things in alive. Wait for the next slide.
The solution.
Yes, I mean, but I'm coming. I mean, first I show the problems, then I show you my ideas about solutions, and then.
Can I comment something?
Yes, comment, please.
Aren't we always slaves of convenience, of happiness, of many things like this?
Yes, we have these weaknesses. We think they're weaknesses as humans, but there is this form of slavery which is other people are exploiting other people, okay, without a fair kind of share, etc. Okay. Of course, I mean, we are doing here a kind of a dialectic discussion. Obviously, my arguments will have counter arguments. The point is to do the discussion, not to find the winning arguments. Okay, so are we coming to solutions? Yes. Yes. Yeah, somebody was going to order a coffee for me. Where is it? Did it come?
Sorry, let it in your.
Well, what's the point in having the coffee?
Do you think there is a danger of having this word not over there?
No.
That we will not have the word not over there. I mean,
Buying technology, not the technology. So I'm trying to understand your question because I'm a bit slow.
you think
Yes.
the not word,
Yes.
there's a chance that it will not exist in the following years. So it means that the covenant of slavery, not only by the technology owners, but from technology itself. Okay, so you are going to this thing about the species, the robots and the machines that will take. Okay, well, I think. Not in the extinction. Yeah, not in the. Yeah. But in the control of the methods. Right. Okay. All right.
Like for their benefit. Ενώ αν εννοεί ότι τα μηχανήματα θα θέλουν να εκμεταλλευτούν τον άνθρωπο. Όχι. Αυτό ρωτάμε.
Yes, but this is a critical point because it's not the same.
It's not chip-based.
Yeah, okay. No, you're both right, okay, but sorry, your name was? Eleni. So, Eleni, as we said, there's something different here because it's the mental world. It's not just the physical world. It's the mental world, okay? And right. So let's. So therefore, for example, Eleni is saying, you know, tomorrow, her grandchildren. I'm not talking about your children, so that we can get to your fear. Her grandchildren applying for a scholarship. And somehow they're very good thing, but they lose the scholarship because there is a kind of machine that's helping your grandchildren who's helping them better learn. Okay, something like that. Right, so let's go to solutions. Addressing. Okay, so addressing, the first thing to say, as usual, to address some dangers, first you have to recognize them, and I think we've gone through the recognition period. You recognize them, and then you have to think, who has the responsibility for the dangers? So I now have this, in defense of AI, of the technology, as I mentioned also before, is not the technology who is to be feared, at least at the initial stages, but is the responsibility for the technology. So
the owners of this technological company
yes,
will find a common enemy. He will be the responsible. He will be the one to be judged. I don't know.
Like the politicians do
Like
now.
the politicians do now.
okay.
But yes, the dog, the robots, they are.
Very good point, and I don't have it on the slide, but it's good that you reminded me. Remind me again if I don't say something about that. So, in defense of AI, the technology, I said one comment, and I'm going to make another comment which I think I made it before, that technologically, the human mind is much more advanced than the AI technology, and it doesn't have to, strong enough to face it technologically. Okay. The responsibility lies on humanity. That's where it lies. And actually, what is the solution? The solution is humans have to become more human. They have to do what they say they are. Benevolent, fair. Okay. Do that, ethos, do that, and then you will see a much better way of using this technology. Okay, so we're going to come back to that in a moment. Yes.
Our philosophy. Just can we implant humanity? Can we implant humanity into artificial intelligent creatures?
Yes, we can, but to do that, our data and the experience that we use to form these machines has to be humane. That's the whole point. Okay, so, I mean, how are these machines, why do we have this spring of AI? Okay, we live through the, so let me tell you a little about the history of AI if you don't know. We passed in the 80s, 90s, and 2000s, we had the winter of AI. What was the winter of AI? The winter of AI was that we are going to create intelligent machines by design. We're going to program them, and we're going to tell them, and they're going to be so clever, and they're going to be doing this. And it just can't be done. Why it can't be done? Because you can't shortcut evolution. And now the spring of AI is there because we said, okay, forget about that. What we're going to do now is we're going to follow the anthropomorphic model, which is get your machine, teach it, let it live in the world, experience, learn from experience, siga. Faster, of course, than the siga of the yavash of the thing. Coming to that. So, but you have to write those things down and remind me, okay? So now I've lost the. Anyway, so the machines now. Think of the machines now. The machines now are just like our children. If you grow the children in an environment where it's violence and hatred, etc., they will grow like that. If you grow them in an environment where it's more benevolent, it's more sense, that's it. The same thing with the machines, Andrea. if you have data with experience, if you let these machines grow and learn from experience, which has these moral values underneath, they will be acquired, okay, and they will have this thing. But unfortunately, the world, as I said, that's why I say we need more humanity. In the human race, we need more humanity. Let's not lose track. We said, okay, we said ethical machines. So we are now working on the ethical machines. We said, and I don't think anybody can dispute, if we train these machines kind of on ethical data and ethical experience, they will be more ethical. Let's put it this way. Okay. And that is the way to get them to be ethical. Okay. Now, what was the second question? Your second question.
Maybe robots will become more ethical than humans.
Ah, right. Okay. That is a very interesting notion. Let's go back to Aristotle. Okay. Who is responsible for all this? And we can discuss why Aristotle is responsible for all this in a moment. One interesting idea is one of the weaknesses that we sort of accept of our human nature is that we are driven by two evils. The first evil is self-interest, all right? And the second evil is the emotions that we get suddenly and they drive us mad or whatever, okay? So the lady there is saying, can we have machines which kind of do not have these two weaknesses? So they're not self-interested. They don't care about themselves, all right? And they don't experience emotions. Because these machines may talk to you like a human being, etc. But one thing that they don't do, there are two major questions. One question is, do they really understand what they're saying? And that is debatable. Some people say yes, and I say, but what is understanding? What is understanding? If I keep asking them questions and they're giving me back reasonable answers, then I say, yeah, I understand what they talk about. What else is there? This is the kind of the Turing test. But do they really, can they feel? They cannot live emotions. Δεν μπορούν να βιώσουν συναισθήματα. What they know, though, is they know how to deal with emotions. They know what fear means, they know what angry means, they know what love means, they know what compassionate means, they know these things, okay, because we have written it down. Okay, there is this paradox in the human kind of species that on the one side we praise this fair, this good, this nice behavior, and on the other hand, we don't always follow it. And we're all guilty about that, okay? And I don't want to sound like a preacher here, but we're all guilty about that. There are moments where the self-interest wins over the thing. Okay, now these machines, they don't feel the emotions. They don't.
That's my question, really. I think that we will go into literature. There were machines that have emotions. So the question is,
which are these machines that have emotions?
Taros.
Oh, yes.
Taros fell in love with media.
This is mythology. Yes. Yes, I know, but they were not real machines. They were not. No, I'm not going to start discussing mythology as something that is real. But I haven't finished.
Yes, yes.
So listen to this interesting idea. So we have now these machines. Let's say that they have a fair understanding of the world, like we do, right? They understand the weather, they understand public relations, etc. But they don't feel emotions. They never get angry, they never get sad, they never get happy, they never, actually inside them. But they know what it means to be happy. They know what it means to behave angrily, or to behave calmly, or to behave fairly. It's written there, okay? So, one of the reforms that these machines can bring to our society, for example, and I think this we will see, Eleni, before we see the self-driving car. I mean, what's this craziness about cars, all right? The car is the most stupid invention of the human thing, all right? Instead of living in your village, and this will also change. This is why you might not see self-driving cars, because we will not live in big cities and etc. We will live in small, more optimal, close things, etc. Okay. This is another. This is kind of the slavery of the Industrial Revolution. Get slaves coming into town, working into town. Has anybody worked in London, for example? Okay. There's pure slavery in London. What is the pure slavery in London? The people who come into central London to clean, to give you your coffee, to work in the restaurants, to do the mundane things that you have to do, they live 1 hour away outside in substandard accommodation, all right? And they have to come as slaves every morning to serve coffee if you need and to clean the things. Okay, so that's the, so now we're going to, all right, so we have a dispute. We let our machines to the dispute. They don't have any emotions. So for example, I have a crash, I come out with Constantina, and I say, Constantina, what are you doing? You're crazy, you're driving, etc., etc. I'll tell you a joke about this later. And instead of doing that, our AI systems, nicely, calmly, they look at the dispute, they solve the dispute, and they come to me and say, look, Antonis, he didn't do, you were at fault, Constantina was right, we agreed to pay him $500. And I was saying, okay, this we will, just like we accept the machine today to do the PowerPoint for us, or to do the calculation for us, we will accept this negotiation. And imagine if this conflict resolution, instead of happening only at the first kind of level of conflict, second level in small cases in courts, and then going up and up and up. All right? So this is one of the nice things that can be explored. But we have, as humans, have to accept that we want to go down this road, okay? That we want to be more human. So, so this is the AI Act that I mentioned about. So what's going to happen with the AI Act? With the AI Act, some slowing down will probably happen, okay? But I will tell you the AI Act that I will pass. And it's related to what Grigori said half an hour ago, all right? What will happen is things like there will be danger levels of different studies of AI, level 1, level 2, level 3, level 5, and there will be regulation that says if you're doing AI at level 5, you're not even allowed to do research at level 5, danger, okay, etc. And they will try to regulate. The point is that all these regulations, they're all very, very nice, and they all happen in Parliament, and the politicians are happy. They pass the law, and they excuse themselves and say, yes, we've dealt with that. We passed the law. There it is. But these laws cannot be enforced. Okay. For example, in this famous law of 2018, the DGB, whatever it's called, I never remember its name because it's a useless law. All right. What's happened with this law? It's caused all this extra work which is for nothing about data protection, all right? Every day, billions of people just press a button without reading anything, just so that we can satisfy this.
It's not for nothing, it's for them because they charge us.
Well, I don't get charged. Anyway, but it doesn't matter. Okay, so the point is, in this law, if you look at it, and I challenge you to look at it, it has in it Article 21 or 22, which has to do with AI and has to do with automated decision making and profiling. And the law says that if a system takes a decision that affects the life of a natural person significantly, then that system should be able to explain how it's taken the decision.
It's all about the interpretable.
Yeah. So that I, the natural person, can contest it. So if a bank, and the banks are using it all the time, if the bank refuses me a loan, okay, and that's a significant decision that affects my life significantly, then it should be able, and how do? They use these machines again, they learn from experience, and they learn, for example, that Cypriots are very good payers back, so therefore if the Cypriot asks for something, gets it immediately. But if, let me not say something, all right? If, but you have to be able to explain it so I confessed it. Okay, it's my human right. Do you think this law is enforced? It's passed from 2018. It's 5 years now. You think it's enforced? Nobody gives a damn. Nobody cares. So now we're not talking only about the banks. Any algorithm, any system. Okay. Yeah. Okay. So we're passing all these laws. So regulation is not going to do much for us. All right. But it's going to create some kind of thing. Now, what is the real way? The real way to do the job is second bullet and third bullet. The third bullet, we mentioned it already. The second bullet is more immediate. We've got to really decide as a human species. Do we really want to be humans as we paint ourselves? And we say, yes, we are not animals. Okay, this is what we say. We're not animals. We don't live in the jungle. Okay. We are humans. And yet, what do we do? In 2023, we have a war in Europe. And we have the President of the United States saying, I'm going to give you more bombs so that you can carry on with this war. This is human nature. This is human nature. And you worry about machines. There is a much more pressing problem. The pressing problem is humanity. Okay. So to be what we really say we are. Okay. Yes, of course.
Imagine that you have a personal robot. You're really friend. You are talking with him. You are driving with him. You are doing a lot of things in your house with that robot.
Yes.
You love him somehow. I mean,
you have some connection. Yes. 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 Like you do with your cat and your dog. Yes.
Love my cat, for
Yes.
example, on my computer. But let's say that in one day, your robot will save your daughter, your kid, your cat, from a different situation, or difficult situation, and you haven't seen the situation, and you imagine that the robot would intend to make a bad thing to your kids, to your cat, to your animal, and you will become very angry and destroy the robot. Is this ethical?
All right. First of all, okay, you've taken us away from the thing, but never mind. We'll come back. Wait. I understand what you're saying. Okay. First of all right, you do this already. When you have a babysitter, You bring a babysitter in. What do? You trust that babysitter that he will do the job. So you take a risk though, a small risk. Right? The same thing you would do with these machines. If they come up to be at the same level of service, cooperation, coexistence as another human being, you will do the same thing with the machine. You will take a small risk that something might go wrong, just like you do with a babysitter. And that's it. Now, if you're saying whether a machine, there is this philosophical question which comes to slavery, but another slavery which is not the important slavery. The important slavery is the slavery of humans that already have a machine that's behaving just like you say. Is it a thing or is it a person? There is this philosophical question. Is it a slave, a thing, or is it a person? Does he have rights? Does he have things? Okay, I don't know. I don't know how to answer that question. Maybe. You see, what you have to think is, what will make the collaboration, the coexistence better? If treating it as a person will make it better, then they will have to have rights, they will have to have the time to go and rest, and you can't ask them to be with you all night and things like this. Okay, but that's the technology is still to be okay, so we discussed this. There are these two things here which are very,
I think if I ask 100 people from 100 different nationalities,
yes,
I'm probably get 100 different answers.
Yeah, I disagree with that, but we'll come to it.
On the other hand, you said we have a war. But we have a war in our streets every day. That's violence. Violence for me is worse than the war between Ukraine and Russia. Because I am next to the entrance of my house and I can feel safe. I'm trying to find an account for my son and weapons, and we are excluding everything now because there is a danger. This living in a danger. It's not happening now. It's happening for the last 3,000 years. Violence in the evolution of humanity and civilization in this planet.
Yes.
For the last 3,000 years. The question is this worrying about the AI ethics so much worse than the violence we live every day in our neighborhoods?
The answer is no. The answer is no. First of all, okay, a very good summary. Andrea, let me respond so that because I'm going to forget. Grigoris is very right. Okay, it's not just the war; it's everything. Every day we have this issue. Yet the only thing that we are different from animals, okay, is the fact that we have imagined, or we can talk about the world which is benevolent. All right. So we have this schisma in our existence. We have this world that we imagine, and that is the human thing about us. That we can talk about the dream of a society that is different from the society that we live. So we have this. Maybe it's too early. Maybe the first step, we are just at the first step of recognizing that there is another way, which is this kind of benevolent way and the nice way and the good way. Okay, there is another way, and this is just the path towards that another way. Now, as far as understanding, 100 people understanding what is good or bad, there is this is the whole point. That if you ask 100 people, they more or less all agree what is good and what is bad. And this is the marvelous thing about the human species. You can go to anywhere you like, and if you have a genuine discussion, we have more or less the same idea of what is good and what is bad. The goodness somehow is in our kind of evolutionary thing. And that's this is what separates us. And that is the thing that we have to find and that's more important than the AI kind of things, as you said. Right, Andre.
I'm just going to give an example at this point, where in my mind there is an issue that we have to consider, the ethical responsibility. Consider an auto-driving car. Sometimes, and I think it occurs in certain cases, it killed a child. Who is responsible for this accident?
Right. That is why I said that
there is an ethical responsibility. Yes.
That is why I said that they should close it down, do some philosophy, do some real thinking, and then start again. Okay. So, and make the cars behave like human drivers. So what do we do? The most advanced machine in the world, what does it do? It drives, it has accidents, but it has ways to resolve that. You have an accident, you get out, you have a shouting thing, or you resolve it there. If you don't resolve it there, the insurance comes and you resolve it there. If you don't resolve it at the insurance, you resolve it in the courts, etc. So why has this technology been allowed on the streets, if you say it's on the streets, without having these extra layers afterwards? This is what Andreas is saying. How am I going to argue with a car? Who am I going to argue about? The idea, this stupid idea that that's another joke. Remind me for another joke like that. The stupid idea that the car will never make a mistake is stupid. Okay. Listen, intelligence, you have to understand. Yeah, listen. It's very important to understand that you cannot be intelligent if you want to be infallible.
If you want to be
infallible, anastasis. Okay. You have to understand. You have to understand this. This is the only thing we know technologically from computing and AI. There is no intelligence if you want your system to be perfect. These two things are exclusive. And actually, this thing was recognized from Turing in 1950, and he said this explicitly, okay, that you cannot do that. And the reason is very simple. The reason is very simple. Because intelligent behavior means doing well in a dynamic, evolving environment, okay? And you cannot control the damn environment, all right? You cannot control the environment. So therefore, to do well, you have to have experience and say, from a lot of times I've seen this problem, I know how to maneuver here. A lot of time I've shown, but I cannot say now when I'm going to be put out in the real world, look, I only want these environments. Don't give me an environment which I haven't seen before. Don't give me a problem, like saying in the class, the student, don't give me a problem that you haven't given me before. And you as educators know how bad it is to educate students only on the problems that they have seen. All right.
Just a quick comment.
Yes.
Do you think planes, trains, and cars that we have today are 100% safe?
No, they can never be safe.
So why do you say that almost, I don't want to make it all about the economic strength because I don't really care about things, but as a concept, as an ethical, let's say, approach, why are you worried about autonomous vehicles when you actually have trains that are not safe today?
I agree with you, but that's the whole point.
Yeah,
that's
why the human needs to be responsible for what you said before.
Yeah. So, and then you remember though that the only thing you can do is mitigate the danger. There is no way you can eliminate the danger. Okay, so you just need to. The thing about the cars, okay, is that this marketing thing come out to say, look, don't worry, because we're going to make this car that never crashes and things like that. All right, so let's listen. This is the most important part of the talk, and it's actually two tangible. I'm going to give you two tangible things that we can do today to make things better for our world in terms of dangers of AI. The first thing is, as we said, we have to educate humanity. So the first thing, and this is what I said at the very beginning, is bringing up all these philosophical ideas. We're doing it here. You see, when did you have such a philosophical, human kind of discussion before AI was around? Okay, never. All it was about how much growth in the economy, how much tourism do we have, how much this, how much that. Okay, it's bringing it out. It's bringing humanity out in ourselves, and you have to teach. Bring it into the curriculum. You have to bring it in the curriculum that you have to do philosophy, you have to do humanity, you have to get the children of tomorrow understanding, not because of AI, something that we've forgotten, understanding that education is not about being a good physicist or a good biologist or a good thing. It's about being a good human person. Right? Do it. Yanni, get into the school tomorrow, into the board, and say, look, we've got to change the curriculum. I want every day, I want to have 1 hour with the students discussing what it means to be a good person. Do it. Dare to do it, and they'll say to you, okay, not every. They will. You see, AI is causing such a stir that there are people who understand that this is what needs to be done.
One comment on the point. I think that within this seminar, the most important thing is that we are talking about defining what is intelligence, defining what is creativity, redefining what is responsibility, redefining what is humanity.
Yeah, it's not. Yeah,
so I think AI is only means.
Yes, exactly. That's what I said. But it's not redefining. I wouldn't say redefining. I would say, I would use another nice word for you, is revisiting. Revisiting these questions. You said redefining, revisit. What is humanity? What is good? What is philosophy? What is knowledge? You revisit these things. These are not new questions. These are questions from the past. Now, more, so for education, we said this, okay? So you go tomorrow and you become martyrs, all right? Crusades for humanity, right? Now, the other thing that we can do as a society is this democratization of AI. Reward said it. AI has to become public good, the emotional authority. Public good. Finish.
This is from an economic point of view nonsense, because why do you think that the public good will work better than
Wait a minute, I'll come to it. Yes. I'll come to it. Okay. Yes. Public good. Like electricity. It's public good.
No, not really. In Italy, it is not. And from
electricity is not public good?
No.
Yeah, no, I don't mean that it is public good. It means that everybody has the right to it, everybody has the access to it, just like having electricity. Okay.
It is not public, cannot be dual commercial.
So everybody in Italy, the people who don't have electricity? Okay, so that's the meaning that I mean is public good. I can change the word. Give me some other terminology which.
It's not for everybody.
What?
Water in the world is not for everybody.
Yes.
To be a public good
Yeah, but it has to be. You don't think that what should be public good?
I think you should.
Okay, all right, good. So it should be public good. Okay, but don't kill it.
You don't have a smartphone, you don't have access to it. It's the same thing like weather. The weather is there, you don't get it.
Public good means that everybody should have a fair means of access to it and using it, etc. Okay, you're economists, you don't like the idea, find another way of doing it. But the principle is this, and you agree with the principle. Okay, but how is that? All right. Okay, you agree with me. I'm going to say some specific things of how. All right. So first, it has to be. And the other reason. Yes. I'm closing in 5 minutes. 5 to 10 minutes. Okay. Okay. And one of the reasons why it should be public good is because it's built by the public. And we've already seen this happening. No, it's because to become one of these machines, you have to have the experience, you have to live the world of the internet. And the world of the internet is created by us, by the public. Okay? It's created by us. It's not created by the big tech companies. Actually, these new technologies that you have now, large language models, ChatGPT, etc., the technology is very simple. Everybody knows. It's not patent. The technology is not patent. Everybody knows the technology. Everybody can do it. Okay. What has value is the data, the experience that we provide. Okay. So why should it's public good? Because of this reason. In fact, do you remember when this stupid, what's his name? I don't want to mention his name. Bought Twitter? Do you know what was the first thing he did? Do you know what the first thing he did? He fired. No, that's simple. No, the first thing he did, he closed the APIs. You know what an API is? The API is the way that other systems can use another system. They communicate. Okay. He closed the APIs. It meant that many startup companies had to close down or reevaluate. Why did he close the APIs? He closed the APIs. Why? Because so that he can sell the data. Okay, so APIs means you have data. So he can sell the data. Because he really knows, business-wise, that what's valuable is the data, is not the technology. Okay. Okay. So it belongs to, it's public good because, first of all, because it belongs to us. And now, as you've already seen, there are lawsuits now for these technology companies from writers that say, look, you have taken my book and you have used my book to train your thing, and I haven't given you the permission to use my book, okay, etc., etc. And I haven't given you the permission to use my one sentence that I wrote on Twitter, okay, so it belongs to the public. Second, and listen, this is, tell me, I'm going to tell you an idea now, and tell me if you've heard this before. Okay, maybe everything that I've said before, you've heard it, but tell me if you've heard this idea that I'm going to tell you before. How do we coexist in some harmony? How do we coexist in some harmony? Okay, because we explain ourselves. We get into a dialogue and we explain ourselves and say, look, I didn't come to see you last night because I had to finish my work, etc., etc. And you say, but it was, you. Okay, there is this explainability, there is this transparency. It may be truthful, it may be not truthful, but there is a level of transparency and we can communicate. And this is the only way we can actually solve problems through dialogue, etc. Okay, so this explainability is what I said in the 2018, this data protection law is in this article 2122. It says, explain to me, why haven't you given me a loan? Because then I can't contest it, okay? This transparency is very important, okay? No problem using a system, but tell me why so that we can get this. So you need transparency. Okay. And this, the EU regulation will say that we've been talking about it, etc. So here's the idea. The idea is to force transparency. So if really the European Parliament means business, it comes to the big tech and say, look, you want to get this AI thing out? Good. It has to be transparent. Yes. Good. So, get it? Let me pass it through transparency trials, and when I'm satisfied that it is transparent, then you take it out. So what I'm talking about is completely the analog thing to medicine and vaccine. You have this vaccine? Good. So you haven't heard it before? Good, okay. I'm glad that I've got one original idea out. Okay, so you have this vaccine, you want to bring it out, you have this medicine, there it is. You have this medicine, you want to bring it out for people to use, fine. There are very rigid procedures how you go through human trials. And then you get the FDA or the EMA approval. The same thing you do with this. You want to bring a system out for deciding who takes loan? Bring it. Let's pass it through trials, 5,000 things, something analogous. Let's pass it through trials. It takes a year, it takes a year and a half, This is how you slow down the thing. Not by writing this stupid thing. 1,000 professors have written a thing. Stop working on for 6 months. How stupid can it be? Even one of my mentors signed this thing, and I told him off when I saw him in London. Okay, so this is the thing to do. Okay, the thing to do is we as European citizens go to European Parliament and say, look, force transparency through trials. Finish.